Here's a riddle you can ask your friends. What kind of tables don't have legs? They're called multiplication tables, and you'll be pretty smart when you know all about them, because if you want to be a cowboy or a movie star, multiplication tables will take you far. All the dog catchers and millionaires too find them very useful, and so will you. So join in with me on the very first table. It's the table of twos. Let's see if you're able. Now let's say it together, and we'll say each one twice. And I want you to say it real loud, okay? Let's go. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 3 is 6. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 5 is 10. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 6 is 12. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 7 is 14. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 10 is 20. 2 times 11 is 22. 2 times 11 is 22. 2 times 12 is 24. 2 times 12 is 24. Let's play a quiz game on the table of twos. How many can you win? How many will you lose? All set? I'll start each one and wait for you to say the answers. So let's go. 2 times 1 is... If you know the answer, say it. Now here is the next. 2 times 2 is... 2 times 3 is... 2 times 4 is... 2 times 5 is... 2 times 6 is... 2 times 7 is... 2 times 8 is... 2 times 9 is... 2 times 10 is... 2 times 11 is... 2 times 12 is... Well, how did you do that time? If the quiz went by too fast for you, if you think you cannot win it, just play it and say it a few times more. Then you'll go a mile a minute. Just try it. Move the needle back to the beginning and play the record over again right now. Now every morning when putting on your shoes, why don't you practice saying your twos? And now for the table of threes. Clowns and bareback riders, the man on the trapeze, could never join the circus unless they knew their threes. Do you? Well, let's start now. We'll say each one twice. And remember, say it loud. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 5 is 15. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 6 is 18. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 7 is 21. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 8 is 24. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 9 is 27. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 10 is 30. 3 times 11 is 33. 3 times 11 is 33. 3 times 12 is 36. 3 times 12 is 36. Isn't it easy for the table of threes? Let's try it together. It's just a breeze. Remember, it's a quiz. 3 times 1 is... If you know the answer, say it. Now here's the next. 3 times 2 is... 3 times 3 is... 3 times 4 is? 3 times 5 is? 3 times 6 is? 3 times 7 is? 3 times 8 is? 3 times 9 is? 3 times 10 is? 3 times 11 is? 3 times 12 is? Well, how many did you get? Remember, if you want to beat the quiz, all you have to do is play it and say it over and over again. And be sure you say it loud. When you're eating ice cream and you think your tongue will freeze, give your tongue some exercise, working on your threes. How far have you gone in multiplication? Do you know your table of fours? You can surprise all the people in all the stores, counting your change when you know your fours. Let's start the table of fours right now. I'll say each one twice. Let's say them together and keep your voice loud. All set? Let's go. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 6 is 24. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 9 is 36. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 10 is 40. 4 times 11 is 44. 4 times 11 is 44. 4 times 12 is 48. 4 times 12 is 48. Let's do it again, and this time keep score. See how you do on your table of 4. Ready? Well, I'll start each one and wait for you to say the answer, and let's see if you can keep up with me. 4 times 1 is? If you know the answer, say it. Now, here's the next. 4 times 2 is? 4 times 3 is? 4 times 4 is? 4 times 5 is? 4 times 6 is? 4 times 7 is? 4 times 8 is? 4 times 9 is? 4 times 10 is? 4 times 11 is? 4 times 12 is? Well, how did you do? If you get stuck in that little quiz, let me give you a tip. If you play it and say it again and again, you'll go through without a slip. When your dad comes home nights, surprise him at the door. He will think you're very smart, saying your table of 4. Now for the table of 5s. If parakeets can learn to talk and cats can have 9 lives, I'm sure that you are smart enough to learn the table of 5s. Here we go. Let's say it together. We'll say each one twice. All set? And keep your voice loud. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 1 is 5. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 3 is 15. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 4 is 20. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 5 is 25. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 7 is 35. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 8 is 40. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 9 is 45. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 10 is 50. 5 times 11 is 55. 5 times 11 is 55. 5 times 12 is 60. 5 times 12 is 60. Well, the fives are one of the easiest to learn. I've said them once. Now it's your turn. Remember, it's a quiz. I'll start each one and wait for you to say the answer. Okay? Here we go. 5 times 1 is... If you know the answer, say it. Now here's the next. 5 times 2 is... 5 times 3 is... 5 times 4 is... 5 times 5 is... 5 times 6 is... 5 times 7 is... 5 times 8 is... 5 times 9 is... 5 times 10 is... 5 times 11 is... 5 times 12 is... The big bass drum. Say, did you keep up with me? If you slipped that time and missed a few, just play it and say it again and again. Soon you'll whiz all the way through. Get tired riding in the car on extra long drives. You can make the minutes fly singing the song of fives. It's as easy as pie to multiply reciting your tables to music. Let's try it with the table of 6. Magicians pull rabbits out of hats, make tables disappear. But the table of 6, despite their tricks, will still be here next year. Now let's go through them together. We'll say each one twice, and say it loud. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 1 is 6. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 2 is 12. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 3 is 18. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 4 is 24. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 5 is 30. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 6 is 36. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 7 is 42. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 8 is 48. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 9 is 54. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 10 is 60. 6 times 11 is 66. 6 times 11 is 66. 6 times 12 is 72. 6 times 12 is 72. Let's do them again in a speedy quiz. If you know them all, you're really a whiz. All set? I'll start each one and wait for you to say the answer. Here we go. 6 times 1 is... If you know the answer, say it. Now here's the next. 6 times 2 is... 6 times 3 is... 6 times 4 is... 6 times 5 is... 6 times 6 is... 6 times 7 is... 6 times 8 is... 6 times 9 is... 6 times 10 is... 6 times 11 is... 6 times 12 is... Say, if you missed one or two or fell way behind, just play it and say it again and again. You can even beat me when they're fixed in your mind. When you are drying the dishes or picking up sticks, put in a few licks on your table of 6. Now for the table of 7s. Fire chiefs, G-men, railroad engineers learn the table of 7s in their very early years. Why don't you? So let's go. Remember, we say each one twice and we say it loud. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 1 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 2 is 14. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 3 is 21. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 4 is 28. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 5 is 35. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 6 is 42. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 7 is 49. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 9 is 63. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 10 is 70. 7 times 11 is 77. 7 times 11 is 77. 7 times 12 is 84. 7 times 12 is 84. I'll sing them again. You finish each one. See how many you know. Say, it's a quiz, it's fun. I'll start each one and wait for you to say the answer. Okay? All ready? Here we go. 7 times 1 is. 7 times 2 is. 7 times 3 is. 7 times 4 is. 7 times 5 is. 7 times 6 is. 7 times 7 is. 7 times 8 is. 7 times 9 is. 7 times 10 is. 7 times 11 is. 7 times 12 is. Say, are you remembering to sing them loud? Did you get them all or miss one or two? Winning this quiz will be easy for you if you play it and say it again and again. Instead of fighting with your brother, practice your sevens, it will please your mother. You can multiply in a hurry with never a slip and never a worry when you learn your tables the musical way. Let's start now on the table of 8. In days of old the pirates bowled buried pieces of 8 with pleasure, but when you learn the table of 8 you'll have a richer treasure. So let's dig in together. We'll say each one twice and say them loud. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 1 is 8. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 2 is 16. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 3 is 24. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 4 is 32. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 5 is 40. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 6 is 48. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 7 is 56. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 8 is 64. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 10 is 80. 8 times 11 is 88. 8 times 11 is 88. 8 times 12 is 96. 8 times 12 is 96. Let's say it again and keep the score. See if you're smarter than the pirates of yore. It's a quiz, remember. I'll start each one and wait for you to say the answer. 8 times 1 is. 8 times 2 is. 8 times 3 is. 8 times 4 is. 8 times 5 is. 8 times 6 is. 8 times 7 is. 8 times 8 is. 8 times 9 is. 8 times 10 is. 8 times 11 is. 8 times 12 is. Did you beat me that time, or did I beat you? Remember, you won't make a mistake all the way through if you play it and say it again and again. Yo-ho, shipmates, you'll know your rates if you practice them with the bosun. They're worth far more than pirates' gold when navigating the ocean. Now here we go on the table of nines. In the table of nines, you don't have to go slow. Just turn numbers around in the tables, you know. Look, instead of saying 2 times 9 is 18, as we do in the table twos, In the table of nines, we just turn the numbers around and say 9 times 2 is 18. Get the idea? 2 times 9 is 18, and 9 times 2 is 18. 3 times 9 is 27, and 9 times 3 is 27. So here we go on the nines. We'll say each one twice and say them loud. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 3 is 27. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 4 is 36. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 5 is 45. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 6 is 54. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 7 is 63. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 8 is 72. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times 10 is 90. 9 times 11 is 99. 9 times 11 is 99. 9 times 12 is 108. 9 times 12 is 108. Now let's start our quiz again. It only takes a minute, and since you know most of the nines, you're pretty sure to win it. 9 times 1 is. 9 times 2 is. 9 times 3 is. 9 times 4 is. 9 times 5 is. 9 times 6 is. 9 times 7 is. 9 times 8 is. 9 times 9 is. 9 times 10 is. 9 times 11 is. 9 times 12 is. Did you get them all that time? Remember, if you couldn't keep up, just play it and say it again and again, and you'll beat me in no time. When you're waiting for a fish to nibble at your line, you can make the moments fly, singing the song of 9. You're quite an expert on multiplication when you know your tables up to tens. George Washington and Lincoln, old Chris Columbus too, impressed their friends with the table of 10, so why don't you? Let's start right now. We'll say each one twice and say them loud. 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 1 is 10. 10 times 2 is 20. 10 times 2 is 20. 10 times 3 is 30. 10 times 3 is 30. 10 times 4 is 40. 10 times 4 is 40. 10 times 5 is 50. 10 times 5 is 50. 10 times 6 is 60. 10 times 6 is 60. 10 times 7 is 70. 10 times 7 is 70. 10 times 8 is 80. 10 times 8 is 80. 10 times 9 is 90. 10 times 9 is 90. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 10 is 100. 10 times 11 is 110. 10 times 11 is 110. 10 times 12 is 120. 10 times 12 is 120. See, the tens are really a cinch to learn. Let's do them again. But now it's your turn. I'll start each one and wait for you to say the answers. Ready? 10 times 1 is. 10 times 2 is. 10 times 3 is. 10 times 4 is. 10 times 5 is. 10 times 6 is. 10 times 7 is. 10 times 8 is. 10 times 9 is. 10 times 10 is. 10 times 11 is. 10 times 12 is. Now, wasn't that simple? The answers go 10, 20, 30, 40, the same as counting by tens. So if you missed one or two, just play it and say it again and again. The table of tens is the easiest to say. No trouble at all to practice each day. And now for the table of 11s. You don't have to be on needles and pins. When saying the 11s, most answers are twins. So here we go. When we say each one, notice the answers are twins. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 times 2 is 22. 11 times 2 is 22. 11 times 3 is 33. 11 times 3 is 33. 11 times 4 is 44. 11 times 4 is 44. 11 times 5 is 55. 11 times 5 is 55. 11 times 6 is 66. 11 times 6 is 66. 11 times 7 is 77. 11 times 7 is 77. 11 times 8 is 88. 11 times 8 is 88. 11 times 9 is 99. 11 times 9 is 99. 11 times 10 is 110. 11 times 10 is 110. 11 times 11 is 121. 11 times 11 is 121. 11 times 12 is 132. 11 times 12 is 132. And now for our quiz. This will be easy. Ready? 11 times 1 is. 11 times 2 is. 11 times 3 is. 11 times 4 is. 11 times 5 is. 11 times 6 is. 11 times 7 is. 11 times 8 is. 11 times 9 is. 11 times 10 is. 11 times 11 is. 11 times 12 is. Well, how did you do naming those twins? Remember, if you write down your 11s, you'll find the clue showing why they're so easy for me and for you. And here's our very last table, the 12s. You'll be smart as a whip in arithmetic when you know your table of 12s. Maybe you'll beat your mom or dad, they may not know it themselves. But say you know most of the 12s from the tables you've learned before, so let's go together and loud. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 1 is 12. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 2 is 24. 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 4 is 48. 12 times 5 is 60. 12 times 5 is 60. 12 times 6 is 72. 12 times 6 is 72. 12 times 7 is 84. 12 times 7 is 84. 12 times 8 is 96. 12 times 8 is 96. 12 times 9 is 108. 12 times 9 is 108. 12 times 10 is 120. 12 times 10 is 120. 12 times 11 is 132. 12 times 11 is 132. 12 times 12 is 144. 12 times 12 is 144. In our quiz on the 12s, you'll get a high score. You know most of the 12s from the tables before. Remember? 12 times 1 is. 12 times 2 is. 12 times 3 is. 12 times 4 is. 12 times 5 is. 12 times 6 is. 12 times 7 is. 12 times 8 is. 12 times 9 is. 12 times 10 is. 12 times 11 is. 12 times 12 is. Well, how did you do? The last 12 is the only one you didn't know before. 12 times 12 is 144. So play it and say it again and again, and you'll win the quiz in no time. And say the very best way to become a star on all the tables from 2s to 12s is to play all your musical multiplication records a couple of times every day. You'll be smart as a whip in arithmetic when you know your table of 12s. Maybe you'll beat your mom or dad, they may not know it themselves.